what most people don't realize is that there are actually laws that govern human movement, specifically the ones that really changed the way I was moving and really made a big change for me in terms of like how much knee pain I was in was learning the laws of torque. There's two laws of torque. The first law is if your limbs, arms or legs, are in front of your body, then you need external rotation to provide stability. So I'm in a squat right now, meaning my legs are in front of my body, they're in flexion. To create stability in my hip socket, I need to create torque through my legs. So if I were to go collapsed toes and ankles and knees, this is a squat that has terrible, no torque here, no kind of stability in the hips. This is why you don't want to try and squat big weights when you're like this. It's also why I'm sitting on this poof here. Versus if I get my feet forward, then I'll have my legs kind of wound up a little bit more so that I can create an arch here. I can drive my knees out, and this will also kind of neutral up my spine and create stability all through my legs. And I can produce more force by securing things down and kind of screwing my feet into the ground. So just like you want to create torque through your legs, you also want to create torque through your arms whenever you're pressing or pulling or using your arms. With the upper body, generally people will say things like with bench press, bending the bar, that way you're kind of screwing your arms into the socket, or on push-ups you want to screw your hands into the ground. It's also why if you're looking from a top view on a push-up, it should look like an arrow rather than a T up here, because up here it's just like squatting with your feet way out here. You maybe could produce torque out there, but it's much easier and a much more stable position if you're closer to straight or closer to straight with your hands. So when you're doing a push-up, if you find yourself with your elbows flared way out here, this is a total loss of torque. Versus if you're screwing your hands into the ground this way and then coming down, this is a much more stable position here.
So the second law is the second law because it's way less common than the first law, and it's whenever your limbs are behind your body, so in extension. So what that'll look like is in your walk or run or lunge, whenever this leg goes behind your body, you're now in extension. So instead of the front leg, we want to be externally rotating this way to create torque. In the back leg here, we want to be internally rotating this way. And you can really see this when people are throwing a punch. As they're throwing this punch, this leg will really wind into it, and often you'll see this heel really kind of flare out as they're throwing the punch. So on this back leg, if you are not creating torque, you'll collapse over like this and the heel will fall to the ground, and then you'll have this just kind of funky, open-hipped kind of lunge. Versus if you're screwing your hip into the ground and creating torque through the hip and the leg, then you get a nice organized lunge position here.